What's up, broods and brudettes? It's the Pico Dudes. I'm Jeremy Hidalgo, and sitting across from me is the Pico Brotato Chip, Sam Rathert. Speaking in only Morse code today.
From now on, everything will be in... No. Clicks and whistles. I've been hanging with the Dolphins too long.
How does that translate flavors on our beer map?
Dolphins don't drink beer.
Sorry for them.
They can't hold the bottles. Those little flippers.
Well, that's why they're bottle noses.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Oh, man. That was horrible.
All right.
So you brewed us a beer to try today.
I did.
What is it?
You know, when we've gotten to make a number of visits to the Pico headquarters.
Yeah.
And while there, we get to meet all sorts of really cool people just on the pass through and introductions and all that.
Pico everybody.
Pico everybody. And one of my first questions for each of them, because I know they've tried more beers than just about anybody, is what's your favorite Pico pack?
Yeah.
And one of them that comes up the most as far as IPAs is concerned is Strassenbrau's NB30. So a lot of the different people, and I'm not going to name names, but a lot of the different people I've met, and when they get to the IPA portion, says, you know what, really like the NB30. So I have made us a Strassenbrau NB30.
Oh, I'm so excited for this one.
Oh, good.
Can you tell?
I can tell. Is it the excitement that you're showing right now?
Yes, I'm actually seriously excited because we have been hearing about this from our visits for, well, two different ones now. Once when we interviewed Mike Brennan and we saw that they had this fridge with a number of taps coming out of it with all these different flavors on it. And
another one when he interviewed Mike Brennan.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So,
because it took 2 trips.
Right. That is correct. So great. NB30. I'm excited. Pico Brew loves it.
Yeah, I hope we are going to love it. So I tried to find something about Strassenbrau.
Okay.
But there's a couple of issues.
What are they?
One is my keyboard doesn't have that cool, funky, almost double S German character. It looks like a capital B.
Are you not just allowed to type 2 S's?
I did.
Okay.
And it really wants to go with Strassenbau.
Oh.
Which is road construction in German. And it is not the brewery. So Strassenbrau is actually a brewery.
Beer construction?
It's not beer construction.
That would be kind of cool, though.
And it is, maybe it is actually beer construction now that you mention it. Strassenbrau. You're a genius. I just have not paid attention to the words. So they are a craft brewery in Berlin.
Okay.
And so sticking with my German, we did a Maybach earlier, and this is another German beer, except it's not.
Why is it not?
So Strassenbrau, this is really, it's what they call their house brand classic, and it is an American IPA.
Oh, this should be good.
So, we have done IPAs before. We've talked about what an India Pale Ale is, how it got the name, what its characteristics are.
Right.
This is an American IPA, which is pretty much the same darn thing, except made with American malts and American hops.
Well, we're in America, so we just call them IPAs.
We call them IPAs in America, and in fact, they become very famous on the West Coast for using the 2 malts that are very prevalent in this beer, Mosaic and Citra.
Hops.
Did I say malts?
You did, but it's cool. We'll let you slide.
It's because of that 7.5% Maybach we just drank.
It was so good.
So good. It actually, we were sitting there after ending our previous episode going, this just really is good.
Yeah.
So
I'm just going to
4.25 at least.
I will, if that was a beer I could buy in the store, I would be going and buying it in the store.
Yeah. That was really good.
Go order that Pico pack and brew it.
Well done, Pico Brew. So this is an American IPA. And again, like I said, it's got that same thing. It's got that Citra and Mosaic hops. And they described it as hoppy, fruity, and herby.
The love bug.
That's what I was thinking. So should we give it a shot?
Yes. Open it. Oh.
Ting!
And you did.
Give me a glass, buddy.
Yep. You did bottle condition on this?
Bottle conditioned in my classic measuring pattern of just kind of pour a bunch of sugar in each bottle and see what happens. As you can see, there's not much bubblage in the bottle, but man, when it hits the glass, you got head for days.
Yeah, it turns out Good.
And that's a slippery bottle because there's some condensation going on in the room. So I almost spilled a liter of beer on all of our equipment here, which would have been a disaster.
Just grab it by the neck.
It may be a while before I can drink mine because somehow
Well, when you slipped,
when I slipped, it foamed up. So I've
Yeah.
got a third of a bottle of liquid and 2/3 of a bottle of foam. So
you could always just swig it out of the bottle if you need to. But in the meantime,
in the meantime, I'm going to let you touch that with your nose and see what you're getting out of this
Wow.
American IPA.
that's
you
very
getting
hoppy.
hops?
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, getting lots of hop.
Lots of hops.
Wow.
Very hoppy on the nose. I got an initial floral scent.
Really
and-
strong floral, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Is that the mosaic?
Oh, I'm not that cultured yet. I'd say
I have a 50-50 shot of getting this right. I just took a swing.
I'm gonna say yes or no.
That, for me,
A little bit of a grassy.
I agree with the floral.
Yeah.
And some,
It's kind
let there be light.
had to turn the light on there. So it's
Yeah.
a little bit of that. I'm not gonna say fresh cut grass
No.
because there's a floral, but the grass that I'm kind of picking up on is like you forgot to empty the lawnmower,
Really?
but not in a bad way.
I'm getting more like grapefruit.
Maybe it's just because I walked through my garage earlier and actually
And that's the smell that was in your garage.
I forgot to empty the lawnmower bag.
Think grapefruit and smell it. I love you.
I'm all over.
Could you smell closer to the microphone, please?
I'm all over the grapefruit. I totally get the grapefruit, and I get a floral. Can I just drink it?
Let's do that. I'm almost to the point where I can drink mine.
Yummy.
Is it?
Yes. It's let's see if I can take another drink and explain this.
Mm-hmm.
So the effervescence is prominent.
Yes.
I think you did a good job on the carbonation. There's bubbles dancing across my tongue immediately. And then there's this sweet, almost florally, I don't want to almost like a peachy.
Really?
I'm getting like a peachy flavor. If you drink it and think peachy. It's not in the beginning. It's kind of like the middle to end part of the taste.
Yeah, I can see that on the end. I get on the sides of my tongue, and I taste what I was smelling. I get that grapefruit bite. If you ever I used to sit there,
Yep.
put sugar on half a grapefruit and just eat it with a spoon. And that's that bite I get on the sides of my tongue.
I'm with you on that. I get an initial grapefruit that sort of fades away, and I'm still getting
sweetness.
that sweet,
Yep.
it's like the gummy peaches. If you buy the gummy peaches candy, and
Never tried gummy peaches.
well, they're like the candy, not like you don't go actually buy a peach, bite into it, and go,
No.
"Oh, this is gummy. This isn't
No,
what I
I-
was expecting."
I don't eat gummy items.
Oh, I do. Because
Bears, worms, any.
I eat all of those gummy things, and chicken nuggets, which aren't much different.
I do eat McDonald's French fries though.
They're pretty good. So, yeah, and that's pretty much where it leaves me. Once I've had my drink and I get that gummy peach candy,
Yep.
then that's pretty much the little aftertaste that stays with me, and it's very pleasant. Mm-hmm. What's the what are the
Give me the stats.
what are the stats on this one?
So American IPA, 6.6% alcohol, 58 IBUs, which I thought would be a little more for me. And I tell you, there is almost no bitterness to
No.
this IPA. It is so hoppy.
It's well balanced.
Aroma and the flavors are so strongly hoppy with very little bitter. So remember, IBUs don't necessarily measure how bitter the beer is. Even though it is international bittering units, a high IBU beer may not taste as bitter, and a low IBU beer may taste more bitter. And Mike Brennan was teaching us about some of that. This is a 58 IBU beer that has the smell, the aroma, and the initial strong hoppy taste, but without the bitter finish that I'm used to from those high IBU IPAs.
Yeah, the only bitter I get off of this is just on that initial bite. Again,
Yes.
a lot like a grapefruit.
Yeah,
I think
that
that's
is-
a very good analogy because when you take a bite of a grapefruit, especially one that may have honey or something on it, you get that initial sour or bitterness. Not even sour. It's
Yeah.
just that bitter, and then it fades away into
And sweet.
into pleasantness.
Pleasant. You okay there?
All the cotton in the air.
Oh,
It's
I'm
like-
telling you, we are going through my eyes right now. I look like I'm crying. The beer's good, but it's not crying good. It is simply the pollen that's going around.
Yeah, it has looked like it's been snowing out here for the last 2 weeks.
I came home to this pile of white, and my kids got so excited because like it snowed. I'm like, no,
No,
that's
it's
not
just
it.
the cottonwoods. Get
Yep.
the Benadryl.
So this is I can see why this is a favorite IPA for for many of the employees of Pico Brew. It is an IPA that of all of the ones I've tried so far, would be my favorite.
Yeah.
I really liked, what was the one that came with the initial backers? Was it a double IPA even?
Are you talking about the Habitus?
Habitus,
The
yeah.
Mike Hess Habitus?
That was really good.
I really enjoyed that one. This one's completely different.
Mm-hmm.
That one had, I had messed with the recipe a bit. I dialed up the alcohol on that one, so it was a bit higher.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I dialed down the IBUs on it as well.
Because that was really good. It was very drinkable.
Uh-huh.
I would put this up there with it. As far as IPAs are concerned, even from the store-bought ones, and I tried a bunch of them in
Yeah.
Hawaii. It's a big style there too. This is up there with the best of them that I tried, and may be better than the best of the ones that I got to try. I had one hazy IPA I absolutely loved. This is probably up there with it.
Yeah, I am really impressed with the floral notes on this. I think, again, in addition to that grapefruit that you get up front, it's almost like when you take your initial drink of an iced tea or something. There's just really quick before that bitter hits you. There's just this nice florally, like almost peach tea kind of
You're like, oh, this is gonna be
psych, and then it's like that
But then
Sour
it's good
Patch
again.
Yeah, it's like if Sour Patch Kids were sweet then sour then sweet.
But it does. It is one of those things that it starts out great, then it kind of throws you for a twist. You're like, what the heck happened? Like a roller coaster.
Yeah,
And you're on it, and you're like, this is fun. This is fun. I'm going up this hill. Suddenly it drops you, and your stomach comes up. But then suddenly you go, whoa, this is great. And that's this. I like the bite because it's immediately followed more of the sweetness.
yeah, I'm with you. This is a very good beer. Another very good beer that you have brewed, courtesy of the Pico Brew and your skills.
Yeah, my skills. So the most important skill you can learn, cleaning everything, sanitizing every jar, everything you use before you touch it, as you touch it, after you touch it, cleaning your Pico Brew thoroughly, deep cleaning
I
thoroughly.
would say your bottles as well. One
Oh,
thing we noticed,
definitely.
and this was what caused us a little bit of a hiccup with your Citra Saison, was I think you had picked up some contamination in a couple of the bottles. And so we had tried one bottle that wasn't great. And then we tried another bottle directly afterwards that was completely different. And
it still wasn't great,
still wasn't
but
great,
it was much better.
but it was,
I think I had multiple contaminants going on.
Yeah.
Some funky brewing, a lot of temperature shifts during the fermentation process. But we refer to that as a lost episode. In short, if you've ever wanted a beer that smelled and tasted exactly like pure weed,
yeah.
and by weed we mean marijuana, that
Ganja.
was that beer.
Yes.
That beer was like walking through a park in Seattle at 10 p.m.
And the episode, I think, if we ever release that, as like people would
A
have to.
lost episode because
Yeah.
it's not fair to Drew Beecham or Citra Saison, one of the most popular packs they have.
Yeah, maybe a gag reel or something.
There you go.
And it was just one of those experiences where I think somehow you actually imparted THC somehow.
Literally into it because we
Yeah.
started to hallucinate at one point.
Yeah, and our podcast went so far off the rails.
Fun to listen to, not educational or helpful for you at all.
Agreed. Also, potentially criminal. No, it wasn't.
Only in about 44 states.
Yeah, no, it wasn't actually criminal. But it was an interesting day.
So taking us back to the Strassenbrau's NB30, what do you think?
I think
How would you rate the NB30?
so. This isn't my favorite style, and with that in mind, I would rate this a high 3.5 to 4 stars because I think it is a very good representation of an IPA, American or otherwise, and I enjoy it for an IPA. I would probably go back and look at one of the other IPAs that we have had prior. Like if I was going to go order another IPA Pico Pack to brew,
Yep.
that wasn't a brand new one that we were going to do.
The Habitus was great.
I would do the Habitus
Probably
or the
a great
Mike Hess
fallback.
over this. But this one is good. It's right up there with them, but just not quite on the same level with regard to complexity.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna call it 3.5.
Totally fair. I'm going to stick with a 4 on this one.
Okay.
And it might be because I don't like IPAs,
Yeah.
but as I've forced myself into trying it, is that what we said? You don't like it, you just need to try it more. So as I've forced myself into trying it,
Trying to not make a dirty comment right now.
I know. And I have found that I don't like the traditional India Pale Ale, the more English version, if you will.
Yeah.
The American, especially the West Coast IPAs. So again, my recent trip to Hawaii took the opportunity to drink everything I could find in moderation, but everything I could find to try different styles while I was there. And I tried a lot of IPAs. I got to one point where I was working with this girl and she was having me try different things. And I was starting to be able to identify the different hops as she gave me each thing.
Because she told you what was in there.
Before she was telling me what was in there.
Sorry.
Yes.
So she did.
As I tried a few and we talked about the hops and their characteristics, and then I'd get into some other brews and I'd say, oh, this is Mosaic and this is Citra. And I think those are two very identifiable
Yeah.
hops to begin with. And those hops I can immediately identify in this. So maybe it's partly because it feels comfortable because it's recent and it's something that said, ooh, I like that. I have good memories of that. And that's bringing all those flavors back. If you like Citra or Mosaic hops, this is your beer. If you're not a fan of IPAs or you're not a big fan of those hops, steer away because this beer reeks of them.
Yeah.
So I give it a 4, which is, I think, the very first time in 14 episodes where I've given a higher rating than you to a beer. So
Yeah.
I'd give it a 4.
generous with my stars.
And I think for the IPAs, this is a standout version of what an American IPA is.
I think it is. I think it's good. I'm noticing as I'm getting to the bottom of my glass here. Did I slur that?
No, I think that's totally fine.
As I'm getting to the bottom of my glass, it's an enjoyable beer. I would brew this again.
Yeah,
I would
you don't have to say that.
I would brew
You're too
this.
kind.
I would still there
I'd
would
totally
be
dance with you if I wouldn't already agreed to go with her.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the SRM on this?
The SRM on this has got to be like a 6.
5.
5?
I thought you were going to nail 2 in a row. So close. One off on a chart that goes like to 20 something.
It's a low 6.
It's a low 6.
I've got to print out a.
It probably looks 6 because it's got a little hazy still to it. And we talked about how mine are a little hazier because I don't take any efforts to work on clarity there.
Hey, I think we should take this opportunity to point out that you have elevated your brewing game significantly. Both this beer and the last beer that you had have been very, very good.
Cleaning, fermentation. So I had
Distilled water.
into distilled water. So I changed water to distilled water, which was a step. Cleaning and sanitization, huge step. And that's probably where
Probably the biggest.
I can, I want to record it. I can go from Pico pack in the box and my Pico brew sitting empty on a counter to a brew going. I've got this down in about 2.5, 3 minutes. And that's adding all the water, that's putting the packs in the step filter, getting everything going, rolling. I can do it pretty quick. What takes me the most time in all of my Pico brewing is all the cleaning and sanitization. Probably takes up 80% of the time that I spend is cleaning and sanitization. I see you crying.
no.
It's okay. It's not that bad. I still have a life. I still get to see my family. Don't cry for me. Don't cry for me, Argentina.
We have a convert. You have seen the light. No,
Truth is, I never met
man,
you.
I am fighting the biggest sneeze right now.
Oh, is that what that was?
making-
Do Scooby do it? Put your finger under your nose.
It's making one of my eyes water.
I think it's
Which is really weird.
It just looks like you're creeping me out, man.
All right, well,
You get pulled over right now. You are so getting arrested.
on that note,
Wait, is this?
do we have more?
Are we done?
No, are we?
I don't know.
You look like you were going to say something.
Nope.
I like hearing you talk.
I know you do. I can't remember what I was talking about though. I want to talk about. We can cut that last bit out. I was talking about, or just leave it in. People can suffer through it. Fermentation is the last piece.
Yes.
And I have tried to up my fermentation game also, which means more consistent temperature. I was going through 8 to 10 degree fluctuations very quickly every single day. And so I've moved to using a big ass cooler.
Can
I say that? Big donkey cooler.
When you say that word, do you have to go into a southern accent? A big ass.
He's a big ass cooler. Sorry if your children are listening. And
He
Putting-
puts asses in it to cool them down.
putting water in it.
Big ones.
and using that to greatly decrease the rate of temperature fluctuation that my brews are fermenting at. Now, I'm not at a place like some of these guys we've seen who have invented or created these awesome little just
Fermentation chambers. And
yes, that never go more than a half a degree in any direction because they're geniuses. Yeah, I see your little thing behind me.
Yeah, so the Cool Brew.
The Cool Brew.
This bag that I bought
From where?
from Micro Homebrew.
Micro Homebrew, shout out. Great people. Great
They're
person.
awesome and super helpful.
Yep.
Especially to people who don't have a lot of experience or people who do. Anyways, I did actually Micro Homebrew's version of a beer.
I got to pour one more. Oh my God.
Holy foamy.
Probably should, yeah. So you did Micro Homebrew's version.
Yeah, and I'll post what my Pico firm results, but basically I was able to keep a pretty consistent, like when I say consistent, like within 2 degrees fluctuation, which I'm super proud of because that's the most consistent fermentation I've ever had. The weather helps, but that helps a lot. Also, I moved my fermentation down to my basement, which is kind of a big deal.
Get a lower in your house. Use liquid if you can because it's a great heat sink.
Yep.
Or a bag or something else that is going to be a bit of a heat sink.
Those are also waterproof, so I believe you could fill them with water right up to the top of the keg.
I'm sure you could. Yeah. And I did do these both in fermentation buckets.
Buckets.
So, again, part of our lost episodes, but we talked about going down to Micro Homebrew and getting a bunch of 2-gallon buckets.
2-gallon buckets with they've got the lids on them that have the grommet and the hole already in there for your little airlock on there.
So just put an airlock. You don't need a fancy Pico firm. Just wait for the bubbles to stop for about 24 hours and you know you're pretty good.
Nailed it.
And that's an easy way to ferment. You can get a lot more brews going at once.
Yeah.
Because you're not tying up your brew kegs during the fermentation process. And I got to the point where I knocked out 6 brews in about 1 week. And that's why we have so many now that I'm back from Hawaii to go through. So that's it. That is the Strassenbrau NB30 IPA.
Time to wrap up.
Thanks for joining us.
Pico dudes.
Out.
You've reached the end of another episode of the Pico Dudes podcast. Connect with us at picodudes.com, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. And if you enjoyed our show, we'd love for you to subscribe, rate, and give us a review wherever you listen to your podcasts, but mostly iTunes. Also, if you want a code that will help give you some discounts off of the Pico Brew equipment, Z150D equals $150 off of the Z series. Pro, Pro 125D gives you $125 off of the Pico Pro, and C75D gets you $75 off of your purchase of a Pico C. We hope you enjoy listening. Look forward to hearing from you. Pico Dudes out.